What is going on, guys? It's your boy Shootout 407 here today, back with another Madden Mobile 21 video. It's gonna be the first time this appears on the channel. It could be the last, could be the first, or maybe we'll see it more often. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. They have this game mode. It's pretty fun. So obviously you have your team. It's kind of just like Madden Mobile, but obviously they just put the Madden 21 name on it. I'm assuming that is the same thing. I don't know if EA took it from the other people or not, but it's called Fantasy, and basically you're competing against this other guy, and whoever gets the most points at the end of the game, you have 3 minutes. Whoever has the most points obviously wins, and it's pretty fun. I've played probably like 20-25 games. They're quick, so it's definitely a lot of fun. This is what you're gonna see the whole time here. My team's not that great, but this is really the only mode that I've played. I haven't really ventured into the game too much. I haven't really been interested in it. I played a ton of Madden Mobile back in my high school days, but now I'm just kind of getting back into it. I haven't really looked around the app too much. I just kind of figured that this would be a fun little thing to play on YouTube. I figured you guys might like it, but we're going to do something different today. We're going to do some sports talk. Yeah, so we're going to talk about Philly sports teams, and mostly the Philadelphia Eagles, because they're who playing right now, and they are not looking too hot. Right now they are 0-2-1. They tied the Cincinnati Bengals, so they are not off to a great start right now. They blew a 17-point lead versus the Washington Redskins and got absolutely stomped by the Los Angeles Rams. So they are not looking too good. And I can't really tell you what the problem is, honestly. Like Carson Wentz last year, he didn't have the greatest receivers, but he played good enough to get us into the playoffs. And then, obviously he got hurt, so we don't really know how that would have ended if he didn't. But we couldn't really put the blame on him too much, and I'm not a huge Carson Wentz guy. When we first drafted him, I wasn't on the bandwagon. I was like, all right, that's cool. We have an average, above average quarterback, but I was never really on the Carson Wentz bandwagon because he didn't really get off to a hot start. And I figure, if we're gonna use a second round, or not even second round, a second overall draft pick on this guy, and I'm pretty sure we traded up. We gave up a decent amount for him. I want decent results, at least semi-decent results right off the start, and we didn't get that, and that's why I really hop on the bandwagon. Then it was the second or third year, he went crazy. He literally had, for the Eagles, he was 13-3 or something, and then they were playing the Rams, and he tore his ACL, and that kind of shut him down. But he was literally on his way to being the MVP of the year for the season. But then obviously Tom Brady ended up winning it because Carson got hurt. Nick Foles stepped in, and they win the Super Bowl. So I'm thinking, wow, the Eagles are going to be good for 5-6 years. And fast forward 3 years, and we're 0-2-1, and we've barely gotten into the playoffs the past 2 years. So I don't get the problem. I don't know if it's because Frank Reich left, and that was who led the offense, and ever since then they just haven't been able to recapture that glory, or if there's maybe some kind of divide between Doug Peterson and Carson Wentz, or Doug Peterson in the locker room or Carson in the locker room, because there's been footage of when Carson Wentz throws an interception, no one's picking him up yeah, we got you, we're gonna get the ball back. But I don't know, it's just he doesn't look like he did in 2017, and he hasn't just recaptured that glory. So I don't know if he's just he doesn't have the confidence right now, if he just needs to, maybe if Doug needs to just kind of change the game plan to kind of get him going early and just get him hot in the beginning, so that way he kind of just flows more naturally during the game, and so he has a better connection with his receivers. But I mean, on the other side, you could make the argument that, first of all, the whole offensive line has basically gotten hurt. Jason Peters just got hurt versus the Bengals. Andre Dillard, he tore his bicep muscle, I believe, and right before the season started. And then Brandon Brooks went down literally before the season was even planned. So yeah, the whole offensive line speed up. They're getting Alshon back soon, hopefully. So hopefully maybe that'll help him out, having a big receiver, a 50-50 guy that you could throw the ball up to and maybe come down with it. But yeah, Rieger got hurt. He's out for 5 to 6 weeks, so he does them no good. I mean, they use a first-round draft pick on him, and they have Rieger. I don't want to see Rieger yet. I want to see what Carson Wentz can really do. I feel he's just mechanically not sound right now, and it could be because they had that huge hiatus where They just didn't get the practice together, and maybe by week 5 or 6, if they're not out of it, he'll capture his glory, and he'll lead them back to an even record or even make the playoffs hopefully, because the NFC East is absolutely horrible. I think that the Cowboys are winning the division right now, and they're like 1-2. They just lost to the Seahawks. Washington's got 1 win, 2 losses. Giants are 0-3. Eagles are in third place at 0-2-1, which I don't even know how that happens. But yeah, I mean, they're not, their season's not definitely not over. They're what, game and a half back, not even like 1 game back. And I think that if they win next week and everyone else were to lose, they'd be in first place at 1-2-1. But I'm not complaining. I mean, there's definitely still time to turn it around. And Deshaun Jackson got hurt too, so he's going to be dealing with what he did last year with the lack of weapons from his receivers. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, I am not a fan of him at all. I think that they just need to bench him. He's got to go to the practice squad or something, because just like every time I see his name, he's dropping the balls. He's just not living up to what they drafted him for. He was supposed to be a 50-50 guy, and he just isn't. He's nowhere near that. I'm a huge Greg Ward fan, though. I feel like Greg Ward was definitely a huge pick. They brought him off the practice squad, and I think that he could be an excellent slot receiver for them. And then having like Deshaun Jackson or Jalen Reagor stretching the field, and then you have like Alshon for the 50-50 balls. I can see that could be a solid lineup, and I could see them being all right if that were the case. But they're getting older, and they're just not staying healthy. The defensive line just doesn't look like what it could be. I mean, compared to last year. I mean, Derek Barnett, we took him in 2017, and he was pretty good in 2017. He had that huge sack on Tom Brady that made him fumble, and what ultimately got them the Super Bowl win is they just had to kind of kill the clock. But other than that, he's just been quiet. He's full of injuries like everyone else. So I don't really know what to make of this team. Like, there's still so much potential, but I feel like they're just, I don't know. Like, I don't think that they're even have a remote shot to win the Super Bowl this year. I think it'll be a miracle if they get out of the first round, to be honest with you. But obviously anything can happen, especially this year with the COVID stuff. Not all teams are on par with each other. Like, you look at the New Orleans Saints. I mean, yeah, Michael Thomas was hurt the past the week 2 and week 3, but they're 1-2. So, and then you have Green Bay, who's 3-0, and Aaron Rodgers is going nuts because they drafted Jordan Love, so he's trying to prove them wrong for sure. He's trying to show them that this isn't going to be another Brett Favre situation where Jordan Love's taken over in a couple of years. I think Aaron Rodgers definitely wants to keep that job for a while. But, yeah, so we're going to move on to the Phillies now, and this team is just, it kills me to be a fan of this team. Obviously they have this amazing team on paper. They have JT Realmuto, Bryce Harper. They have, I guess you can say, Scott Kingery. I hate Scott Kingery. Like, I don't hate him. Like, obviously I don't hate him, but I don't know what is up with him. Like, everyone said he was in great shape, and I guess COVID came and kind of set him back. But then they have Didi Gregorius, Jean Segura. They have Aaron Nola, all these guys. And they're another team that just cannot put it together, like the past 2 years. And then they hired Joe Girardi. I'm like, wow. Like, I thought Joe Girardi was going to turn the team around to like a whole 180. But they didn't. They finished 3 games under 500, and they had a shot to make the playoffs. And they literally lost 3 games, and then they had an outside shot to make it. All they had to do was win their last game of the season, and they needed their last 3 teams, or I think it was the Giants and the Brewers, to lose, and they did, and they still managed to miss the playoffs because they lost. So their bullpen is just, it's pitiful. It's a dumpster fire. Like, they need to just, Juan Nicasio's garbage. David Robertson, I don't even know what happened to him. He's fallen off the map since he got hurt. Hector Norris seems like he's blowing saves left and right. They just don't have a guy like a trustworthy guy that can come out of the bullpen and just like that this guy's coming in, and like you're gonna be like, all right, we'll be all right. I mean, the only guy that I guess you could say that is I like that Jojo Ramirez, I think his name is, or Jojo something. He whenever I saw him pitch, I felt pretty confident that he was gonna come in and shut down the side. But other than him, it's just like, I cannot believe that their bullpen is as bad as it is. And then they traded for like Hunter Hembree, I think his name was, and like someone from New York, 2 guys from Boston, and those guys were just as bad. I was like, are they really just, they really could not put the pieces together. So I don't even know what to think of this team. And then on another thing, they have to re-sign JT Realmuto, and if they don't re-sign JT Realmuto, then the trade looks terrible on their side because they gave up Sixto Sanchez, who pitched a 7-inning shutout against them, and he could be in the mound right now pitching for them, shutting down the teams, and he possibly could have got them into the playoffs. I mean, Jay Garrietta's, I think he's on his last year of his contract, thank God, because he is definitely not the guy who came from Chicago. And Aaron Nola, thank God, has pitched well. I mean, he hasn't been pitched great, but he's pitched good enough. And I mean, he definitely hasn't recaptured that Cy Young year that he had. But I mean, can you blame him? I mean, he doesn't really get the greatest run support. And even when they do have a lead when he comes out, you don't know what the bullpen's going to come with because they're so bad. Like, I don't really know. Like, they just don't fix the things that needed to be fixed. Like, the bullpen. I mean, I know they don't want to go over the luxury tax, but if you have a chance to make the playoffs, like, all right, spend a little bit over. Like, come on now. I mean, I obviously don't know the whole, like, in-depth thing about the luxury tax, but I imagine that if you're, one win away from making the playoffs, like, you got to get that one bullpen guy that can come in and just shut down the side. Like, they had a chance at Dylan Patansis. I think he only signed with the Mets for like $2 million. Like, you couldn't just spend on this guy. And then they let go of Francisco Liriano, which he would have been an elite lefty coming out of the bullpen. Like, he's got experience. Their bullpen, who they do have, is young. So he could have given them so much insight on how to be like, a decent pitcher coming out of the bullpen. Like, they needed some kind of veteran guy, and they just did not have that at the bullpen. Like, Hector Norris, I said that he's horrible, and he is, but I don't even know what else to say about this team. Then we got the Sixers. They are just... I think that they can easily win, not easily, but I think they have a chance to win the NBA championship. They just need the right coach. Like, Brett Brown was not it. I personally want Tyronn Lue or Doc Rivers. I think that they would both push Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons to what they need to be. And they need to surround these guys around perimeter shooters because other than... I don't even know, honestly. I think Matisse Thybulle is kind of like a Robert Covington, like a 3-and-D guy. But, like, other than, like... I can't even think of a guy that you'd want to take the shot at the end of the game for them. Maybe Furkan or... I like Shake Milton a little bit, but other than that, they really don't have any sort of perimeter threat at all. And it's really sad because they really need that for, the superstars that they have. And they can definitely win the championship. I just think they missed it when they let go of Jimmy Butler, J.J. Redick, and all those guys. But that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and always shoot your shot.